Recently, the Supreme Court ended affirmative action, basically saying that black people will no longer be able to be admitted into the prestigious universities based upon the fact that they are or once were considered the minority in this nation. However, there's another type of affirmative action that's happening and that's going on, and it's been happening for a very long time. Affirmative action for rich kids. It's more than just legacy admissions. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. According to NPR or National Public Radio, that was the headline on an article that was written in July, today actually. Affirmative action for rich kids, it's more than just legacy admissions. So let's get right down to the essence of this story. A few weeks ago, the U.S. Supreme Court ended affirmative action in college admissions. The ruling held that the race conscious admissions program of Harvard University and the University of North Carolina violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. It's now deemed unconstitutional for colleges, both public and private, to weigh race as a factor in who they should admit. Affirmative action for minority kids, or black, I'm inserting that myself, or black kids, may now be dead. But a blockbuster new study released today finds that effectively affirmative action for rich kids is alive and well. They may or may not always do it on purpose, but a group of the most prestigious private colleges in America are handling a massive admissions advantage to rich kids over less affluent kids, even when they have the same SAT scores and academic qualifications. The study is by Ray Cite and Davis J. Deming of Harvard University and John N. Friedman of Brown University. We at Planet Money have already dubbed Ray Cite the Beyonce of economics because of his long list of popular hits in empirical economics. And let me tell you, this is another flawless classic in his catalog. I mean, not only is the study eye-opening, but Chetty is also kind of sticking his neck out here by shining a spotlight on the admission practices of his employer, Harvard. But they can't fire Beyonce. He has tenure. Among a number of other discoveries, the economists find that kids from the richest 1% of American families are more than twice as likely to attend the nation's most elite private colleges as kids from middle-class families with similar SAT scores. The silver spoon these wealthy kids are born with can apparently be used to catapult them past other equally bright but less privileged kids into some of America's best colleges. Chady and his colleagues provide compelling evidence that fancy schools are prompting a kind of neo-autocracy with admission programs that help to perpetuate a family's class privilege from one generation to the next. The advantage they grant to rich kids are about more than just legacy admissions, a price in which elite colleges give preferential treatment to kids of alumni and donors. The economists find that other types of evaluation and recruitment play important roles in giving rich kids a leg up as well. Going further, the economists find evidence suggesting that reforms to the admissions policies at these prestigious schools could really make a big difference in the life trajectory of less affluent kids and make America's elite less of an exclusive club for people born into privilege. Chetty, Deming, and Friedman focused their study on what they call the, quote, Ivy Plus colleges, close quote. The 8 Ivy League schools, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Columbia, Brown, Cornell, Dartmouth, and University of Penn, as well as Stanford, MIT, Duke, and the University of Chicago. Less than half of 1% American goes to these prestigious private colleges, yet these 12 colleges amount for more than 10% of Fortune 500 CEOs and a quarter of U.S. senators, half of all Rhodes Scholars, and 3/4 of Supreme Court justices appointed in the last half century. The economists write these schools, in other words, appear to be an important gateway to the American elite, which makes their admission policies are relevant for all of us. Rich kids obviously have a bunch of advantages that help them bolster their academic credentials, like great private schools, SAT tutors, and so on. Indeed, Chetty and his colleagues have already amassed a ton of evidence that the environment, even the zip code in which kids grow up, has a huge impact on their chances of climbing the economic ladder. But these childhood advantages are not what this study is about. In this study, the economists compare rich kids and their less affluent peers who have been achieved roughly equal academic credentials measured by SAT scores and GPAs. Yet, even then, the rich kids are still more likely to get into elite colleges. It's pretty shocking when you consider how much harder it is for a less well off kid to measure up academically to a rich kid, who from a young age has benefited from tremendous resources aimed at bolstering their academic credentials. The economists pulled together a range of large data sources that enables them to thoroughly analyze the admissions decisions of America's most elite colleges. They got internal admissions data from a bunch of schools, allowing them to see which kids applied and which ones got in. They have SAT and ACT test scores, or ACT, and equipped with IRS data, the economists are able to see how rich these U.S. Kids' families are when they apply to college and how much money the kids earned after they graduated. They focus primarily on students admitted between 2010 and 2015, which gives them enough of a postgraduate track record for the researchers to see how they've done in their careers. With this treasure trove of data, the economists then embarked on a rigorous analysis. First, they established the overwhelming reason why rich kids are disproportionately attending these schools. Admissions, yes. They find their less affluent peers are less bit likely to apply and enroll. But the main reason for the disparity in colleges are systematically admitting more rich kids than less well-off ones. To be continued in the next video. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender, never quit.